When we imagine a high IQ, we often picture someone who dominates every conversation. We expect the smartest person in the room to be the loudest and the fastest to answer. However, cognitive psychology suggests that real brilliance is often much more subtle. True high intelligence frequently manifests through restraint rather than raw performance. Research shows that individuals with superior cognitive processing tend to exhibit specific quiet behaviors. These habits are often mistaken for shyness, social awkwardness, or even a lack of interest. In reality, they are signs of a brain that is processing information at a deeper level. Today, we're looking at 6 quiet behaviors that secretly reveal a very high IQ. Understanding these traits will change how you perceive the people around you. You might even recognize some of these hidden markers within yourself. 1. Observational silence is the tendency to listen far more than you speak. While many feel the need to fill every silence, high IQ individuals often remain quiet. Psychology shows this isn't necessarily due to shyness or a lack of confidence. Instead, cognitive psychology calls this active information processing. A highly intelligent brain prioritizes accurate data collection over immediate social performance. They are busy analyzing nonverbal cues, logical inconsistencies, and underlying motives. This high cognitive load makes it difficult to engage in superficial small talk. In a real-life setting, this person might seem like a passive observer in a meeting. The consequence is that when they finally do speak, their input is usually profound. They wait until they have a complete mental model before offering a conclusion. 2. Very intelligent people often exhibit highly selective social interaction. Research suggests a fascinating link between high IQ and a preference for smaller social circles. Evolutionary psychology calls this the savanna principle of happiness. The study found that while most people are happier when socializing, the opposite can be true for those with high intelligence. For these individuals, frequent social interaction can actually decrease their overall life satisfaction. This isn't because they dislike people, but because their brains are often focused on long-term objectives. They find that constant socializing distracts them from deep work or complex problem-solving. Consequently, they may decline invitations or spend significant time alone to recharge. In a social setting, they will likely seek out 1 or 2 meaningful conversations instead of working the room. This quiet independence is a hallmark of someone whose internal world is exceptionally active. 3. High IQ individuals are frequently seen engaging in quiet, internal monologues. You might even catch them whispering to themselves or moving their lips while deep in thought. Cognitive psychology calls this meta-cognition, or the ability to think about your own thinking. Research suggests that verbalizing thoughts helps the brain organize complex information more effectively. It acts as a mental rehearsal, allowing them to spot logical errors before they speak out loud. This constant internal refinement is why their final statements often seem so well constructed. In practice, they are often self-correcting in real time as they process new data. While others rush to defend their first idea, the highly intelligent person is busy dismantling their own. This behavior results in a high degree of intellectual precision and a lack of impulsivity. Their silence isn't an absence of thought, but a rigorous internal debate. 4. A very high IQ is often accompanied by a surprising amount of intellectual humility. Psychology shows that the more someone knows, the more they realize what they don't know. Cognitive psychology calls the opposite of this the Dunning-Kruger effect. This effect explains why people with lower cognitive ability often overestimate their own competence. In contrast, highly intelligent individuals tend to be much more cautious with their claims. They are comfortable saying, "I don't know," because they value accuracy over looking smart. Research suggests this stems from an awareness of how complex most topics truly are. In real life, this behavior makes them appear quiet or even uncertain in debates. However, this hesitation is actually a sign of advanced critical thinking. They refuse to simplify a difficult truth just to win a social argument. 5. High intelligence is frequently tied to an exceptional capacity for pattern recognition. Psychology shows that this process often happens rapidly and entirely beneath the surface. Cognitive psychology calls this fluid intelligence, or the ability to solve new problems without prior knowledge. Because they see connections so quickly, they don't always feel the need to argue basic points. They may seem quiet because they have already reached the logical conclusion, while others are still debating. Research suggests that a high-functioning brain filters out irrelevant information to save energy. This efficiency often manifests as a lack of reaction to trivial or repetitive stimuli. In real life, this can make them appear aloof or even distracted in social settings. The consequence is a unique perspective that bypasses the obvious and targets the root cause. Their quietness is simply the byproduct of a mind that is always 3 steps ahead. 6. High intelligence is fundamentally defined by a quiet, seamless adaptability to new environments. Psychology shows that intelligence is not just what you know, but how you change. Research suggests that highly intelligent people can modify their behavior to fit any new context. Cognitive psychology calls this behavioral flexibility, and it happens without any loud announcements. Instead of forcing the environment to change for them, they observe and integrate. They don't complain about new rules or struggle to let go of old methods. This quiet transition is a result of their ability to quickly recognize a new set of patterns. In real-life scenarios, these individuals often thrive during periods of crisis or sudden transition. They are the ones who remain calm and functional, while others are still panicking. Their lack of visible struggle is a secret indicator of their immense cognitive power. 5. A defining trait of high intelligence is the capacity for intense, hyper-focused curiosity. Psychology shows that high IQ individuals often enter what is known as a flow state. During these periods, they become so absorbed in a task that they lose track of time. To an outside observer, this person might appear detached, distant, or even rude. In reality, their brain is dedicating every available neural resource to solving a specific problem. Research suggests this deep immersion is linked to a high level of cognitive persistence. They aren't just thinking, they are engaging in complex mental simulation and analysis. The real-life consequence is that they may miss social cues or forget to eat and sleep. However, this single-mindedness allows them to master subjects at a level most cannot reach. Their quiet withdrawal is the sound of a mind working at full capacity. The 6th quiet behavior is the ability to practice extreme, delayed gratification. Psychology often references the famous marshmallow test to illustrate this specific trait. Research suggests a strong correlation between high cognitive ability and the power to resist immediate rewards. While others chase instant hits of dopamine, high IQ individuals often play a longer game. Cognitive psychology calls this executive function, which involves superior impulse control and strategic planning. They can suppress the urge for a small win today to secure a massive victory later. In real life, this looks like a quiet commitment to long-term projects or financial investments. They don't feel the need to show off or seek validation in the short term. Their patience is not passivity, it is a calculated mental simulation of future outcomes. By waiting for the right moment, they demonstrate a level of self-regulation that few possess. While these quiet behaviors are signs of high IQ, they often come with a significant cognitive burden. Psychology shows that high intelligence is frequently linked to a tendency toward chronic overthinking. Research suggests that the same pattern recognition that aids problem-solving can also trigger hyper-awareness of potential risks. This constant mental activity often leads to what cognitive psychology calls decision fatigue. Highly intelligent people may find themselves paralyzed by the sheer number of variables they can see. Furthermore, the quiet nature of their processing often results in intense social fatigue. Navigating everyday small talk can feel like a draining manual task rather than a natural flow. As a consequence, they may withdraw not out of arrogance but out of a need for mental recovery. Understanding these challenges provides a more realistic view of what it means to live with a high IQ. The quietness we observe is often a protective shield against an overwhelming amount of internal data. Recognizing these 6 quiet behaviors in the real world requires looking beyond the surface. In a professional setting, notice the person who listens intently during meetings without immediately interrupting. They aren't being passive. They are synthesizing information and preparing a high-value response. In social circles, look for the individual who stays calm when plans suddenly change. Their lack of frustration signals a high level of fluid intelligence and problem-solving ability. You might also spot them working on complex hobbies that require intense long-term focus. Psychology suggests that these individuals often prioritize genuine mastery over superficial social status. They are often the ones comfortable with silence, using it as a tool for self-reflection. When they do speak, their words often reveal a deep understanding of hidden patterns. Identifying these traits helps us appreciate a quieter, more profound type of human capability. Ultimately, high intelligence is not defined by how loud you speak or how fast you answer. Psychology shows that it is an internal resource used to navigate the complexities of life. True cognitive depth often reveals itself through patience, observation, and a profound sense of adaptability. These 6 behaviors remind us that the most active minds are often the ones that appear the stillest. If you recognize these traits in yourself, understand that your quietness is an asset, not a flaw. You are simply processing the world at a frequency that doesn't always require an audience. Intelligence is a tool for understanding the universe, not for dominating the room. As we move forward, remember that the most powerful insights usually come in moments of silence.